Hey guys, today we're going to review on Sodor Superstars Hall of Fame. Simia.
Welcome to Sodor Superstars. This is your chance to get to know your island friends. You can learn Thomas's favorite saying, or a fun fact about James. Or maybe you want to find out where Duncan's favorite island spot is. Simply use the direction buttons to choose the friend that you would like to learn more about, and then press enter. Each superstar appears in a James in the Red Balloon episode, so once you become more familiar with each friend, make sure you check them out in the main feature. Have fun, and come back again and again.
Got Thomas.
Is a cheeky, fussy engine who often gets into scrapes by being overeager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. As you can see, Thomas is blue. His favorite saying is, "I'm a really useful engine." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Thomas and Bertie's Great Race, and Thomas Comes to Breakfast. But did you know that Thomas was given Annie and Clarabelle after helping with some troublesome trucks? Get to know him better at his favorite island spot, the countryside, pulling Annie and Clarabelle.
Thomas and Bertie's Great Race, available on 10 Years of Thomas. It could also be found on James Learns a Lesson, The Early Years, and Engine Friends. And Thomas Comes to Breakfast is available on the same name as the video, Thomas Comes to Breakfast. So yeah. Next, we got Percy.
Percy is the junior member of my principal team of engines. He is a very hard worker. As you can see, Percy is green. His favorite saying is, "Little engines can do big things," and he's often proving this to his island friends. You can catch him in many starring roles, including Thomas, Percy and the Dragon, and Percy's Ghostly Trick. But did you know that Percy was brought to my railway with Gordon, James, and Henry went on?
That's a reference to Trouble in the Shed. And when Thomas got a branch line, it makes a reference to Thomas Saves the Day. Thomas, Percy and the Dragon, available on Thomas, Percy and the Dragon. It's also available on Best of Thomas, Thomas's Halloween Adventures, and The Greatest Stories. And Percy's Ghostly Trick is available on Best of Percy. It's also available on Percy's Ghostly Trick, Thomas's Halloween Adventures, Percy's Ghostly Trick, and The Greatest Stories. Next, we got Gordon.
Gordon is the senior member of my engine family, the fastest and the strongest, and he knows it. He has a good heart, but sometimes takes on jobs that are even too big for him. As you can see, Gordon is blue. You'll often hear him saying, "I'm the fastest engine on the island." And you can catch him in many starring roles, including A Better View for Gordon and Gordon and the Gremlin. But did you know that Gordon was the first engine on Sodor to have the Queen as one of his passengers?
That makes a reference to Thomas Meets the Queen.
His favorite island spot, Gordon's Hill.
A Better View for Gordon is available on Cranky Bugs. It's also available on Best of Gordon and the Gremlins, available on Thomas's Track Stay Tunes. It could also be available on Best of Gordon and Thomas's Halloween Adventures. Now you got Edward. Oh, there's a goof here. Edward's exploit. It says Edward's exploits.
As you can see, Edward is blue and wears the number 2 on his side. His favorite saying is, "I may be old, but I'm still very useful." When traveling on the island, you'll usually find Edward at the sheds, always ready to help me out. And did you know that in the original Thomas and Friends stories, Edward did not receive his number 2 until later in the series?
And the other starring roles are Edward Helps Out and Edward's Exploits. And Edward Helps Out is available on Thomas and His Friends Help Out. It could also be available on Thomas Gets Tricked, The Early Years, and Engine Friends. And Edward's Exploit is available on Thomas, Percy and Dragon. Edward's Exploit has the letter S. Now we got Henry.
Henry is a long, fast engine with a thoroughbred look. And like all thoroughbreds, Henry tends to be highly strung and prone to illness. As you can see, Henry is green. His favorite saying is, when it's raining outside, I'd like to stay in the sheds where it's nice and dry. You can catch him in many starring roles, including Henry in the Elephant and Something in the Air. Did you know that before his shape was changed, Henry needed special Welsh coal to create steam? You'll often find Henry hanging out in the forest, his favorite island spot.
Henry and the Elephant is available on 10 Years of Thomas and Friends. It could also be found on Henry and the Elephant, aka the Gallant Old Engine and the Greatest Stories, and Something in the Air is available on Races, Rescues, and Runaways. Now we got James.
James is a medium-sized engine who likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. He often boasts about his brass dome and scarlet paint. As you can see, James is red. As a matter of fact, his favorite saying is, I'm a really splendid engine. You can catch him in many starring roles, including James Goes Buzz Buzz and James Learns a Lesson. But did you know that James was once repaired with a bootlace? Get to know him better at his favorite island place, the Sodor Engine Wash.
James Goes Buzz Buzz is available on 10 Years of Thomas and Friends. It could also be seen on Best of James and James Goes Buzz Buzz. And James Learns a Lesson is seen on James Learns a Lesson. It's the same name as the VHS and as the DVD. It could also be found on The Early Years and Best of James. Next is Donald and Douglas. Next are Donald and Douglas.
Twins and always like playing practical jokes on the other engines. Their favorite place on the island is at the quarry. As you can see, both Donald and Douglas are black. Their favorite saying is, when we worked in Scotland, we used to. Did you know that I had the nameplates put on the side of both engines so I'd not confuse the two?
That references the Deputation, and for Henry, it references Henry's special coal. And James and Perfect Bootlace references James Learns a Lesson. And the other song rules are for Donald and Douglas are Donald and Douglas and Donald's Duck. Donald and Douglas is available on Thomas and His Friends Help Out. It could also be available on Thomas Percy and the Dragon, and Donald's Duck is available on Thomas Gets Bumped. Next we got Duck.
Duck is a cheerful and busy little engine who comes from the Great Western Railroad. He likes to prove how useful smaller engines can be, which sometimes leads him into trouble. As you can see, Duck is green. His favorite saying is, we don't need diesels to help with the railway. You can catch him in many starring roles, including A Close Shave for Duck and All at Sea. But did you know that Duck's real name is actually Montague?
The Harbor by the Sea watching Sunset.
It
It makes a reference to to All at Sea. And we don't need diesels to help with the railway. It makes a reference to the Duck and the Diesel Engine story, like Pop Goes Diesel and Dirty Diesel CVC and A Close Shave for Duck. It makes references to these. A Close Shave for Duck is available on Thomas Comes to Breakfast, and All at Sea is available on 10 Years of Thomas. All at Sea is also available on Percy's Ghostly Trick. Next we got Bertie the Bus.
Bertie and Thomas have been the best of friends ever since their great race.
It makes a reference to Thomas and Bertie's Great Race.
Bertie is happiest when he is driving on the island's roads, carrying passengers. You'll often hear him saying, roads are much better than rails. And did you know that Bertie and Thomas have never raced again since their famous great race?
And Bertie's other starring roles are Thomas and Bertie's Great Race and Bertie's Chase. Thomas and Bertie's Great Race is available on 10 Years of Thomas. It could also be seen on James Learns a Lesson, The Early Years and 10 Years of Thomas. James Learns a Lesson, The Early Years, and Engine Friends. And for Bertie's Chase, it's available on Thomas and His Friends Help Out. It's also on James Goes Buzz Buzz. We got Rusty.
Rusty is a self-assured and dedicated worker with a huge heart. As you can see, Rusty is orange. Rusty is often found in the mountains of Quarry, working with Duncan, Scarloey, and Rheneas. Rusty's favorite saying is, "I love adventure, as long as boulders."
This makes a reference to Rusty and the Boulder.
Rusty was brought to the island to help out Sir Handel and Peter Sam, while Scarloey...
This makes a reference to Rusty helps Peter Sam. And Sodor star rules are Rusty and the Boulder and Rock and Roll. Rusty and the Boulder's available on Spills and Chills. It could also be available on Quarry Adventures on Sodor, and Rock and Roll is available on Thomas in a special letter. We got Duncan, the last one.
Duncan means well, but has a mind of his own, which sometimes leads him into trouble. Duncan is yellow and is often found in the quarry or mountains. His favorite saying is, "I love to rock and
This makes a reference to Rock and Roll.
Duncan first went to the narrow gauge railway when Peter Sam had an accident.
This makes a reference to Truck. To Rusty helps Peter, Sam, and Home at Last. And don't forget Rusty's Battle. It makes a reference to 4 Little Engines when Scarloey was away. And Duncan's starring roles are Duncan Gets Spooked and Home at Last. Duncan Gets Spooked is available on Spills and Chills. It's also available on Hit Favorites, Awesome Adventures Volume 3, Frills and Chills. And Home at Last is available on Thomas in a special letter. Well, folks, peace out and goodbye.